We should thank and remember the teachers who have shaped us, guided us throughout gently and firmly. Happy Teachers' Day wishes to all my teachers and dear colleagues and all faculties. First of all, I thank God Almighty for the blessings of the day. Respected Chairman, His Grace Dr. Thomas Mark Timotheos Metropolitan, respected Manager Sri M.K. Skaria, respected Principal Professor Srijesh S, and our respected Head of the Department, Mr. Thomas Abraham, faculty members of Department of Computer Application and all the faculty, staff and management of the college. A warm good morning everyone and welcome to today's intercollegiate webinar, Future with Artificial Intelligence, hosted by the Department of Computer Application, Holy Cross College of Management and Technology in association with AI Village, Cochin. Now, without any delay, I would like to invite our resource person, Adarsh V. Kumar from AI Village to share his ideas and thoughts regarding the topic Future with Artificial Intelligence. Over to you, sir.
Okay, good morning. എല്ലാവർക്കും ഓഡിബിൾ ആണോ? ഓഡിയോ കേൾക്കാൻ പറ്റുന്നുണ്ടോ? ഹലോ?
ഓക്കെ സാർ, ക്ലിയർ ആണ്.
ഓക്കെ, എല്ലാവരും മൈക്ക് ഓഫ് ചെയ്തു. എന്നിട്ട് ചാറ്റ് സെഷനിൽ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് എന്നോട് റെസ്പോണ്ട് ചെയ്യാം. ഓക്കെ, ഞാൻ ചോദിക്കാം. അപ്പോൾ ആ ടൈമിൽ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ചാറ്റ് സെഷനിൽ ഇപ്പം റെസ്പോണ്ട് ചെയ്യാം. പിന്നീട് നമ്മുടെ ഈ ഒരു പ്രസന്റേഷൻ സെക്ഷൻ കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് ഒരു 5 to 10 minutes നമുക്കൊരു മീൻസ് ഓഡിയോ യൂസ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുള്ള ഇൻട്രാക്റ്റീവ് സെക്ഷൻ പ്രൊവൈഡ് ചെയ്യാം. ഓക്കെ അല്ലേ? സോ സ്റ്റുഡൻസ് ആ ചാറ്റിൽ ഒന്ന് റെസ്പോണ്ട് ചെയ്യൂ. നിങ്ങൾക്ക് കേൾക്കാൻ പറ്റുന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ, ഞാൻ പറയുന്നത് ക്ലിയർ ആണെങ്കിൽ പ്ലീസ് റെസ്പോണ്ട് ദ ചാറ്റ്. ഓക്കെ, ഐ തിങ്ക് ഇറ്റ്സ് ക്ലിയർ. ഓക്കെ, നമുക്ക് സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്യാം. സ്ക്രീൻ കാണാൻ പറ്റുന്നുണ്ടോ? ഓക്കെ, സോ സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്യാല്ലേ? സ്ക്രീൻ കാണാൻ ഞാൻ നേരത്തെ പ്രസന്റേഷൻ ഓൺ ചെയ്തിരുന്നു. അപ്പം എല്ലാവർക്കും ക്ലിയർ ആണല്ലോ അല്ലേ?
സാറേ ക്ലിയർ ആണ് സാറേ, സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്ത കുഴപ്പമില്ല.
ഓക്കെ ഓക്കെ. അപ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ ഇന്ന് ഈ ഒരു സെഷനിൽ ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്യാൻ പോകുന്നത് ഫ്യൂച്ചർ വിത്ത് ആർട്ടിഫിഷ്യൽ ഇൻ്റലിജൻസിനെ പറ്റിയാണ്. അതായത് ആർട്ടിഫിഷ്യൽ ഇൻ്റലിജൻസ് എന്നൊരു ടേം നമ്മൾ ഒരു റീസെൻ്റ്ലി കേൾക്കാൻ തുടങ്ങിയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു ടേമാണ്. ആക്ച്വലി ഇതിനെപ്പറ്റി പറയുകയാണെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഒരു 1956 ഈ ടേം ആദ്യമായിട്ട് കോയിൻ ചെയ്തിട്ടുള്ളത്. അത് ജോൺ മക്കാർട്ടി എന്ന് പറയുന്ന ഒരു സയൻറ്റിസ്റ്റാണ് ആർട്ടിഫിഷ്യൽ ഇൻ്റലിജൻസ് എന്നൊരു ടേം ആദ്യമായിട്ട് ഇൻട്രൊഡ്യൂസ് ചെയ്തത്. സോ ദ ഐഡിയ വാസ് ടു ഇൻഹെറിറ്റ് ഹ്യൂമൻ ഇൻ്റലിജൻസ് ഇൻ മെഷീൻസ്. നമുക്ക് കേൾക്കുമ്പോൾ തന്നെ അറിയാം, മീൻസ് ആ ഒരു ടേം കൊണ്ട് ഉദ്ദേശിച്ചത് നമ്മുടെ ഹ്യൂമൻ്റെ ഇൻ്റലിജൻസ്, അതായത് ഹ്യൂമൻ്റെ ബുദ്ധിയും വിവേകവും അങ്ങനെയുള്ള അവരുടെ ആ ഒരു പവർ ഒരു മെഷീനിലേക്ക് എങ്ങനെ ഇൻഹെറിറ്റ് ചെയ്യാം എന്നുള്ള ഒരു ഐഡിയ വെച്ചിട്ടാണ് ആർട്ടിഫിഷ്യൽ ഇന്റലിജൻസ് എന്നൊരു ടൈം ആദ്യമായിട്ട് ഇൻട്രൊഡ്യൂസ് ചെയ്തത്. സോ പക്ഷേ ആ 1956 ഈ ഒരു ടൈം ഇൻട്രൊഡ്യൂസ് ചെയ്തതെങ്കിൽ പോലും ഇപ്പം ഒരു റീസൺ ഒരു 2015 ഓൺവേർഡ്സ് ആണ് നമ്മുടെ ഇടയിൽ ആ ഒരു ടൈം ഫെമിലിയറായി തുടങ്ങിയത്. ആ ഒരു ഫെമിലിയാരിറ്റി, അതായത് ഇപ്പം ആ ഒരു ടൈമിന്റെ ആ ഒരു റെവല്യൂഷണറി അതിന് കാരണമായിട്ടുള്ള കാര്യം നമ്മുടെ അവൈലബിലിറ്റി ഓഫ് ഡേറ്റ. ഈ ഒരു ടൈമിൽ പണ്ടത്തേനെ അപേക്ഷിച്ച്, പണ്ടെന്ന് പറയുമ്പം ഡേറ്റ വളരെ കുറവായിരുന്നു, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ മെഷീൻസ്, ഇപ്പൊ കമ്പ്യൂട്ടേഴ്സ് എടുക്കുകയാണെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഇപ്പം ഒരുപാട് ഹൈ പ്രോസസ്സിംഗ് സ്പീഡ്സ് ഉള്ള കമ്പ്യൂട്ടേഴ്സ് ഉണ്ട്, GPU സിസ്റ്റംസ് ഉണ്ട്. സോ അതൊക്കെ വെച്ച് നോക്കുമ്പോൾ പണ്ടും ആ ഒരു മിസ്സിംഗ് ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. അതായത് ആ ഒരു ടൈമിൽ നമുക്ക് ഈ പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ ഡേറ്റയും മെഷീൻസും ഒന്നും അവൈലബിൾ അല്ലായിരുന്നു. പക്ഷെ ഇപ്പം അതെല്ലാം അവൈലബിൾ ആണ്. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് അന്ന് ഇൻട്രൊഡ്യൂസ് ചെയ്ത ആ ഒരു ടൈം ഇപ്പം ഒരു റെവല്യൂഷണറി ടൈമായി മാറിയത്. സോ ഈ ഒരു സ്ലൈഡിൽ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് കാണാം, കുറച്ച് പിക്ചേഴ്സ് കാണിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഇത് നമുക്ക് പലർക്കും ഫെമിലിയർ ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഇമേജ് ആണ്, നമ്മൾ യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്നതാണ്, നമ്മൾ കണ്ടിട്ടുള്ളതാണ്. ഇപ്പം ഗൂഗിൾ അസിസ്റ്റന്റ് നമ്മുടെ എല്ലാവരുടെയും ഫോണിലുള്ള ഒരു ഫെസിലിറ്റിയാണ് ഗൂഗിൾ അസിസ്റ്റന്റ്. അത് AI യൂസ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് വർക്ക് ചെയ്യുന്ന ഒരു ഫെസിലിറ്റിയാണ്. ദെൻ നെക്സ്റ്റ് വരുന്നത് സെൽഫ് ഡ്രൈവിംഗ് കാർസ് ഉണ്ട്, നമ്മുടെ ഫേസ് റെക്കഗ്നിഷൻ സിസ്റ്റംസ് ഉണ്ട്, നമ്മളെല്ലാവരും യൂസ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുള്ളതാണ്. ഫേസ് ആപ്പ്, അതിൽ നമ്മുടെ ഫേസ് കൊടുത്തിട്ട് ഇത്ര വർഷങ്ങൾക്ക് ശേഷമുള്ള നമ്മൾ, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ നമ്മളെ ജെൻഡർ ചേഞ്ച് ചെയ്യാം, അങ്ങനെയുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങൾ ചെയ്യാം. ദെൻ ആമസോണിൻ്റെ അലക്സ, ഇപ്പം വീട്ടിലിപ്പം ഒരു IoT ഡിവൈസ് ആയിട്ട് യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്നതാണ്. ആമസോൺ അലക്സയോട് നമുക്ക് എന്തുകൊണ്ടും പറയാം, ഇപ്പം ലൈറ്റ് ഓഫ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറയാം, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ TV ഓൺ ചെയ്യാൻ പറയാം, അങ്ങനെ എന്തുകൊണ്ടും പറഞ്ഞ് നമ്മുടെ ഒരു അസിസ്റ്റന്റ് അതാണ്. ദെൻ സോഫിയ റോബോട്ട്, നമ്മുടെ സൗദിയിൽ പറയുന്നത് സിവിലൈസേഷൻ കിട്ടിയ ഒരു റോബോട്ടാണ്. ദെൻ ഇതെല്ലാം നമുക്ക് ഫെമിലിയർ ആയിട്ടുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങളാണ്. ഇതിൻ്റെ എല്ലാം പിന്നിൽ പ്രവർത്തിക്കുന്നത് ആർട്ടിഫിഷ്യൽ ഇന്റലിജൻസ് എന്ന ടെക്നോളജിയാണ്. ഓക്കെ, ദെൻ ടൈപ്സ് ഓഫ് ഇന്റലിജൻസ്. ഇപ്പം നമ്മൾ നേരത്തെ പറഞ്ഞു, ഈ ആർട്ടിഫിഷ്യൽ ഇന്റലിജൻസ് എന്ന ഒരു ടേം കൊണ്ട് ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത് ഹ്യൂമൻ ഉള്ള ഒരു കഴിവ്, അതായത് ഇന്റലിജൻസ് എന്ന ഹ്യൂമന്റെ കഴിവ് നമ്മളൊരു മെഷീനിലേക്ക് ഇൻഹെർട്ട് ചെയ്യുകയാണ്. അതിനു വേണ്ടിയിട്ടാണ് നമ്മൾ ആർട്ടിഫിഷ്യൽ ഇന്റലിജൻസ് ആ ഒരു ടെക്നോളജി കൊണ്ടുവന്നിട്ടുള്ളത്. ഇവിടെ ടൈപ്സ് ഓഫ് ഇന്റലിജൻസ് നോക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ നമ്മുടെ യെസ്.
Sorry to interrupt you in between, sir. Could you please prefer English language or Hindi? Actually, some of us are from MP, so unable to understand this Tamil or Malayalam, whatever it is.
Okay,
So,
okay.
Could you please?
Okay, English എല്ലാവർക്കും ഓക്കെ ആയിരിക്കില്ലേ?
What, sir?
Will English be okay to all others?
Yes, sir. English will be okay to all of us.
Can everybody reply? Okay. So we have discussed about artificial intelligence. It's a recently popular term. So I will start over again, so you can make it clear. So artificial intelligence, it's a recently popular term, and already it was coined in 1956, but it gains its popularity in these recent times because of the availability of data and resources. We showed some examples of AI systems, assistant systems, then self-driving cars, face recognitions, robots. These are all examples of artificial intelligence or application of artificial intelligence. Then we are going to discuss about intelligence. So what type of intelligence we human possess? We have lots of intelligence, including spatial, then naturalist, musical, logical, extension, and etc. So for all these, it's very difficult to inherit all these intelligence to a single system. So that's why there is a limit in these artificial intelligence technologies. Because even lots of scientists thought of that artificial intelligence will take over the world, or it will take over humans. So they are speaking like that because of whenever a system inherits all this intelligence. So we are showing that there are so many intelligence that human possess. So whenever a system inherits all this intelligence, they can overcome human. But it's a little bit, it's possible, but it's in the future, or it may take lots of years. So that's about intelligence. So when now current AI systems possess any one or two of these intelligence, and they can overcome human in that case. So if you design a system for a logical or mathematical calculation system, it can overcome human. It can perform better than human, but it cannot do any other things that a human can do. That's the main difference, and that's the type of AIs. There are three types of AI: weak AI, strong AI, and super AI. So weak AI means, I told you earlier, there are some AI system that can possess a generalized intelligence, or a single, sorry, not generalized, a single type of intelligence, anything related to speech or visual systems, or recommendations. It could possess only a single intelligence. Then strong AI means it's a general AI system. That is, it can possess, it will be similar to a human intelligence, same as that a human can do. It can do whatever a human can do. And then there is super AI, that is the AI system that can take over humans, so that can be, that can perform more than a human can do. That's the three types of AI systems. Then next is the subdomains of artificial intelligence. I have mainly two subdomains, not only two, but there are other things such as computer vision, natural language processing, etc. So here we are discussing mainly about two subdomains, that are machine learning and deep learning. So artificial intelligence, when deep learning and machine learning combines together, we can use it in AI systems. And here we can see the definitions. Artificial intelligence means a program that can sense, reason, act, and adapt. So, so if we consider AI as a word, it can sense, or it can reason, it can act, can adapt. So whatever a human can do, or like that, artificial intelligence system also can do everything that a human can do. Then machine learning. Machine learning is a subdomain of AI where algorithms whose performance increase as they are exposed to more data over time. So over time, if we, hello, any questions? Okay. Machine learning, as we have said, we are using some data to train a system and be familiar with that case. So that we are doing in machine learning. But in case of the, and also in machine learning, we are using mainly statistics and the equations, like you will be familiar with the logistic regression, polynomial regression, like that. So we are using such algorithms to perform or to find some relation between data and predict some outputs, or group or classify some data. So we use more and more data to train a system. Train means we have to learn a system to provide an output, or take a decision. So in case of deep learning, it's quite different. There we use neural networks, a set of neural networks. That is, it will work something like that our brain is working. So we know that our brain consists of nerves or neurons, and they are connected to each other. In a similar way, neural networks are also a set of layers. Layers means one layer means each layer we are performing some calculations to find the features. So a neural network or deep learning network consists of lots of layers with calculations that can calculate on a data and find relations or features from that data. So it is different from machine learning, but it's a subdomain of machine learning. So these are the three terms we have to be familiar when we are dealing with AI. Then data. So I already told that this artificial intelligence, the term artificial intelligence gained its popularity because of the abundant availability of data. And if we look at this graph, by 2010, it's given in zettabyte. Zettabyte means 1 trillion GB. So by 2010, the global data sphere was only 20 zettabyte, but by 2020, it was raised to about 60. and by 2025 it will be 175 zettabyte. So the availability of data, or the data here, is having an exponential growth over time. So it's playing a major role in the development of AI. And next is machineries, that is GPU systems or something like that. We are using in recent times we are using only CPU systems like that, and their performance is very low as compared to current systems. So by using GPUs, we can improve the computation speed, and it would take less time to compute more complex tasks like that. And for example, if we are performing a task with the CPU, it may take 4 or 5 days, but a GPU can do it within one day, or just 3 or 4 hours. That's the difference. So that's why today these AI systems are becoming more popular. So it's due to the availability of data and resources. Then let's start with machine learning. So I told you it's a major subdomain of artificial intelligence, that is machine learning. So by machine learning, we mean that we are learning a machine, or we are learning a system to make a decision on some input that we give to them. So for example, if I'm giving an input like a cat image to a system, it can identify it as a cat, or it can identify, or if I am giving two images, a cat and a dog, it can differentiate between the cat and dog. It can predict which is a cat or which image is of dog. So we can learn, or we can train the system using three methods that's given here. That's unsupervised learning, supervised learning, and reinforcement learning. That are the three types of training that we use to train a machine learning system. Then the difference between traditional programming and machine learning. So in traditional programming, we are giving an input and a program, and it will give us the output. We know that. I will show in the next slide. But in case of machine learning, we are giving the input and output to a system, and it will generate the program or the algorithm or the relation between that input and output. So here we can see in traditional programming, it says simple example. So here we are giving input as 2 and 2, and the program is addition. So the result will be 4. That's in traditional programming. But in machine learning, we are giving 2 and 2 as the input, and its output 4 also as the input. So we are giving these two things, that's the input and the output to the system. Then it will predict, or it will create the algorithm or the relation between the input and output. That is, here the program is an addition. So the system generates the relation between the inputs. So that is that 2 and 2, then 4. So that's the basic difference between traditional programming and machine learning. The next is, I told you earlier, there are three types of machine learning: supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement learning. So let's move on to supervised learning. So in this type of learning, that supervised learning, we are providing the input, we are training the system with a label. That is, for a system, we are giving an input images, 2 ducks and 2 other animals. So for duck, we are giving its name as duck. It's a duck. We are teaching the system, that is, this image is of a duck, and the others are of not duck. That is, we are giving the labels along with the inputs. While we are training, we are telling the system that this image is of a duck and this is of not duck. So that system learns by learns from the features of that image, that is of a duck or it's a not duck. So whenever the system learns to predict the output, when we input the image of a duck, it will predict it as a duck. That is, that's the thing that we do in supervised learning. So here we will train the system, the machine learning system or the model with the image or whatever, the input with their labels. Here it's of a duck, so we are providing with the labels. But in case of unsupervised learning, we are just providing the data. There is no labels, or we are not defining what is the image or it's what. Here, if we look at the input, there are 3 images of duck and 2 others. So if we are performing an unsupervised learning, the system will classify the input based on similar features. That's if we look at the duck, their its shape and its legs, its beak, eyes. There are certain features that are similar with these 3 images. I think you can see the images. So for duck, there are similar features, and there's a rabbit. It has a different feature from the duck and the other one, and the other one is also different from the those four. So it can classify, or it can actually the term is clustering. Clustering means just dividing into classes based on their features. That is similar features. Similar data will be grouped as a single class. That is what we are doing in clustering or unsupervised learning. So we are not giving any input or input labels, or we are not telling the machine that this is of a duck or this is a rabbit, something like that. We are just giving the input, and the system itself finds some features. Actually, they are finding the features by using some calculations or metric calculations, something like that. We know that whenever we input an image to a computer, it's seeing not the image, it will see some numbers only. So they will calculate, they will make some calculations on that numbers and try to find some similar features, and it will group the input based on that similarity in their features. The next is reinforcement learning. That here we will train the model by giving them a suggestion or some rewards like that. So here is an example. We will first train the machine, then we will give an input to make a prediction. So whenever we give an input, it will predict. Whenever it will give us a wrong prediction, we will correct it. We will give a feedback and correct it by telling no, it's wrong. The right answer is this. Here it's we are giving apple as an input. So the system predicts it's a mango. So we correct it wrong. It's an apple. So the system will note the change. It will adjust its prediction algorithms, and then next stage it will correct its prediction. That's what we are doing in reinforcement learning. It's actually like supervised learning, but here we are giving a feedback whether during training it's predicting correct or not. We are giving a reward. If it's spelled correct, we will give a positive reward or positive feedback. Then if it's not right, it will give a negative feedback or negative reward. So the system will learn from that feedback. It will be it's mainly used in gaming systems or like that. I will show you some examples, some applications of these learning systems. If we look at supervised learning, we will be mainly using it in fraud detection, image classification, then diagnosis, forecasting, like that. But in case of unsupervised learning, it's mainly grouping, like targeted marketing, customer segmentation. For example, we know that we get advertisement in social media based on our previous histories or previous shopping histories, like that. So a system will study about a certain group of customers and group them based on their interest, and they will give recommendation to a particular group of person, like that. So that's the examples of unsupervised learning. And then reinforcement learning will be used in real-time decisions, learning tasks, game AI, like that. The next is deep learning. I told you about deep learning, and it will mimic the function of brain. That is, it will use a network known as neural networks for making predictions of for learning. So what they see, if we input a human face to an AI system, how it will detect it as a human, or it as a the name of person? How can it identify the person who is that? It will look at his different features of his face. That is, if it's similar to human brain, it will note his eyes, lips, ears, nose, and facial shape, hairstyle. So whatever make a person unique, it will all Means it will take that features and make predictions based on that. So what a computer sees. So if we input an image to a computer, it will read or it will see a set of pixel values. We know that image consists of a digital image consists of pixels or pixel values. That's the values ranging from 0 to 255 about RGB, red, green, and blue colors, or grayscale, white or black. So the image, input image, when we input an image to a computer system, it will see a set of numbers. And from these numbers, they will find some relation between these numbers and try to find the features of that image, specific features from that image. And this is a neural system, neural network. So if we input an image, so first it will identify light or dark pixel values. Then it will identify the edges of faces. Then it will identify the combination of edges, wherever two edges meet or wherever two or three edges combines. And then it will finally identify the features by combining these combination of edges and other things. And finally, it will make a result or make a prediction based on these features. And there may be many outputs, or with the system have seen 2 or 3 persons. And when we input the face of one person, it will get these features and try to find which is similar to the known ones, and it will predict as him. So that's what a neural networks do. It will do the same as our brain do. A similar thing is done in our brain. So it will take the input, first identify the light or dark pixel values, then identify edges, then combines the edges, then convert it to features. And we told that it's all numbers. So what they do is just some set of calculations, like metric calculations or something like that. There are mathematical calculations that's being done behind that. The difference between machine learning and deep learning, or the output of machine learning and deep learning, is that if we give an input, a cat image, to a machine learning system, it will predict whether it's a cat or a not cat. It's whether it's a cat or not. But for a deep learning system, if we input the image of a cat, it can even predict its breed. So it can differentiate between cats. It can predict its breeds or which breed it belongs to. It can take that much narrow features from an image and differentiate between the same class also. For machine learning, it will only predict the main class, but for deep learning, it can also differentiate between those in the main class. So next subdomain, or another subdomain of artificial intelligence is, I forgot to tell you one thing, the domain of artificial intelligence that deals with this image processing or similar tasks is computer vision. It's also a subdomain of artificial intelligence. So we have recently discussed about computer vision with deep learning. So now we are going to natural language processing, that is NLP, natural language processing. So in the first image, I show you about Alexa and Google Assistant, like that. So for these systems, they are identifying, or they are recognizing what we speak to them and gives us response based on that. And there, in the background, there are certain processes that are carried out, that is text classification. First is text classification, that is when we say something to a system, it will classify the text, that is, it will identify whether it's a positive or negative, whether it's a question or a command. So it have to classify the text. Then information retrieval. So if I told, for example, Alexa, turn off the lights, that's a command. So it's retrieving some information, turn off or lights. That's an information that can get from that sentence. So that's a process that's carried out in a natural language processing system. Then natural language generation, and that is what we say, what they give us as response. So if we speak to Google Assistant, it will speak back to us. That's what is natural language generation. It's generating the language and responding to us. The next is natural language understanding. That is, it's a combination of text classification and information retrieval. The system is understanding, or uh, they are just giving us response based on what we have said. They are understanding what we told to them or what we are speaking to them. That's about NLP. The next is industries impacted by AI revolution. So this will be the future of these industries with AI. So what will be the future of these industries with the revolution of AI? So if we consider healthcare, we can see that most of the healthcare systems are now using AI for diagnosis, and even for some operations, they are using robots for carrying out surgeries and main operations like that. Then manufacturing, it's already impacted by AI systems. Most of the companies are using robots in manufacturing sectors. Then transportation, we have discussed about self-driving cars like that. Then education sector, information technology, business intelligence, retail, cybersecurity, and every field, whatever field there will be an impact of AI in the future. Now it's already have a place in these all sectors, but it will also make a complete revolution in all these sectors in the future. Future means 2 or 3 years. Within 2 or 3 years, all these sectors will be impacted by AI. Then what will be the future with artificial intelligence? Will be a better world that we have, and we will have AI assistants that we can command, or we can we can tell them anything and they will respond us based on it, and they will help us and they will make our world a better world. The next is superhuman doctors. When a robot or an AI system assists a doctor, then it will be a superhuman doctor. There will be superhuman doctors. And self-driving vehicles, then marketing systems. Even nowadays, the marketing systems are using AI system to classify or group certain customers based on that, and they are providing recommendations for purchase or something like that. So marketing system, then sales, customer service, everything is going to revolutionize by AI. Then accounting systems, fortune teller. Fortune teller means we can predict something that will happen, like results of games or weather forecast, or we see that an asteroid will pass by in the next 2 years. So like that, there will be fortune tellers and chef with the most recipes. So we can, today itself we have applications that can give us many recipes, that are automated systems, not pre-trained systems. These are all sectors, so this will be a future with artificial intelligence. Every sector will get revolutionized by AI. And there are certain myths about AI, that is, AI is going to replace all jobs. So it's partially it's correct. It will replace some jobs, but actually it will work. It will help human to work in a smarter and faster way. It will assist humans, not. It will replace some jobs, but actually the main we are focusing on AI systems that will assist humans, or that will make work of humans in a newer and smarter way. Then next is only low skilled and manual workers will be replaced by AI and automation. It's also partially correct, but it will not only affect low skilled jobs or manual workers. Today we are using AI in medical field, or law for it is assisting, or it is replacing doctors, lawyers, like that. So it's also taking part in high trained and professional jobs. Then artificial intelligence will quickly overtake and outpace human dreams. And it will happen, but not now. It will happen. It will take a long time. I told you earlier, if a system overcomes human, then it should have inherit all the intelligence and everything that a human can do. It should inherit that things. We can see them in films and science fiction movies. We can see that. But if to be possible, to make it possible, it will take a long time and a large amount of data, machineries, huge time. It will do one day. It will overtake, or it can overtake, outpace human intelligence, but it will take a long time, and they will lead to destruction and enslavement of human race. And also myth, it will be under control, and human can control these AI systems, and it will be and these systems will be uh, established, or it will be implemented based on its legalities, like that. And super intelligent computers will become better than humans at doing anything we can do. It's same as before, and it will happen in the future, but now it's just a myth. Then these are some.
അത് അത് ഇനി അത് സാറേ ഒന്ന് ഫുൾ സ്ക്രീൻ ഒന്ന് ഇട്ടേക്കാമോ? എല്ലാവരും
Okay,
ചോദിക്കുന്നുണ്ടായിരുന്നേ.
okay, okay. Can you see?
ആ ഓക്കെ സാറേ, കണ്ടിന്യൂ. ഓക്കെ, കണ്ടിന്യൂ ചെയ്തോ.
So these are the myths about artificial intelligence. I think it's clear. So again, it's going to replace our jobs. Nowadays, lost skill and manual labors, and will quickly overtake and outpace human intelligence. Will lead to destruction of enslavements. And all these can happen. We can't say it as just myths, but it can happen in the future, but will take a long time. And these are some AI job titles. With we know that Indeed. I think you are familiar with.
സാറേ മ്യൂട്ടായിരുന്നേ. ആദർശ് സാറേ അത് മ്യൂട്ടായിരുന്നു. അൺമ്യൂട്ട് ചെയ്തൊക്കെ ആരോ മ്യൂട്ട് ചെയ്തായിരുന്നു.
കേൾക്കാൻ പറ്റുന്നുണ്ടോ?
ആ ഓക്കെ സാറേ, പറഞ്ഞു.
So these are some job titles with high salaries related to AI. So we know that Indeed. I think you are familiar with Indeed. It's a job portal. So there, these are some highly paid jobs with AI. The machine learning engineer, data scientist, computer vision engineer, data warehouse architect. As well. These are all related to artificial intelligence, and these are high paid. So in the future, there will be we in the myths we discussed that AI will replace some jobs. So if you have to withstand that, you should be able to create an AI. So you should be the one who is developing an AI system. Then you can withstand that situation. So that's about the future with AI or artificial intelligence. Then thank you everyone for having in this session. So we are having an interactive session for 5 or 10 minutes. You can ask me any doubts you have related to this session. So I'm stopping this presentation. So anybody have any doubts?
Hello, sir. Good morning, sir.
Okay, tell me.
Sir, I have one doubt that how to adjust the weight in the deep neural network.
How to?
When we pass the input from input layer to the hidden layer, then from hidden layer to output layer, how to adjust that weights?
Actually, at the first time, the weights are randomly distributed between these layers or between the nodes. So whenever the system is training, it will try to predict on the output, and there will be some loss factor from the output, and according to that loss factor, the model itself adjusts its weights. It will adjust the weight of that nodes to reduce that loss. It is automatically done in behind in the deep learning system. That's the main advantage of deep learning system. We don't have to interrupt that system. It will adjust the weights automatically during the training.
But sir, initially we have to add the load, no? Some value
Usually,
we have
we
to.
are not adding the weights. We are giving some bias terms, or we are giving the filter values. Like, for example, in convolutional neural networks, we are giving filter values that will make calculations. But the weight will be decided, or that will be randomly assigned by system initially.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else? Do you have any doubts regarding this session? Sir, excuse me, Ashish George, sir, if I'm first looking for career in AI, ML, what are areas we need to focus to crack it? So first you have to be familiar with any programming language. Mainly we are using Python or R, mainly using Python in artificial intelligence. So you should study Python. Then you should be familiar with machine learning, data science, computer vision, natural language. Every sector, you should have a basic knowledge in all these sections. Okay. I think Python is better. Python is mostly used in AI systems, and it will be more easier. So, any other questions?
Sir, is there any book do you like to suggest for machine learning so that we can do some kind of coding and some kind of changes in the neural network, or we can design we can select our number of inputs, outputs, and hidden layers depending upon our requirement. So, for coding purpose, is there any particular book you can suggest, sir?
There is no such particular books. You can, what's your requirement? Then you have to go to the index, and if you find them useful in your project or for your work, you can use it. I don't have any personal suggestion like that. We should be focused on our application and just look at its index. And if you have all information you needed, then you can use. You can make it.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you.
So can you differentiate R and Python in this area? So differentiate means it's just two programming languages. I think Python will be easier to handle, or it is much easy to study, and it will be more convenient. That's the main difference. It's also if you program in C and Python, there will be some difference only in the coding, but the output or something like will be. Yeah, and also there are certain more packages in Python. That can be used in deep learning and machine learning. So I think, in my opinion, Python is better, and that's what I told you.
ആർക്കെങ്കിലും ഡൗട്ട് ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ മലയാളത്തിലാണ് ചോദിക്കുക കേട്ടോ, മടി കാണിക്കണ്ട, കുഴപ്പമില്ല. പിള്ളേർക്ക്
മലയാളത്തിൽ തന്നെ ചോദിക്കാൻ കുഴപ്പമില്ല. ഞാനിപ്പം മറ്റേ അവര് റിക്വസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടാണ് സെഷൻ ഇംഗ്ലീഷിലാക്കിയത്. So I will share my email ID, so you can also ask me any doubts regarding AI or whatever. You can send me mail. I will share my mail in chat session.
Sir, please send the PPT, sir.
Okay. So can you send me a mail and I will forward it to mail.
Okay, sir. Okay. Okay.
I am sharing my mail ID.
തോമസ് സാർ, ഒരുവിധം എല്ലാവർക്കും കാര്യങ്ങളൊക്കെ ക്ലിയർ ആണെന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു അല്ലേ സർ?
അതെ അതെ, വലിയ ആരും ഒന്നും ചോദിക്കുന്നില്ല. അതുകൊണ്ട് ഇനിയപ്പോ മടിയുണ്ടാകാൻ അറിയത്തില്ല. മലയാളീസ് ചോദിച്ചോ, മലയാളത്തിൽ ചോദിച്ചോ, കുഴപ്പമില്ല, ധൈര്യമായിട്ട് ചോദിച്ചോ.
എല്ലാവർക്കും സെഷൻ മനസ്സിലായോ? മീൻസ് ഞാൻ ജസ്റ്റ് പറഞ്ഞു പോയതേ ഉള്ളത് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ഇൻഫോർമേറ്റീവ് ആയിട്ട് തോന്നിയിട്ടുണ്ടോ? So is the session informative? Did you get some knowledge from this? Is it okay? So you can reply me in the chat. Was the session okay or did you get some information?
നമുക്ക് വൈൻഡ് അപ്പ് ചെയ്യാമെന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു അല്ലേ സർ, തോമസ് സർ?
അതെ സാർ, അതെ അതൊക്കെ ധൈര്യമായിട്ടും വൈൻഡ് അപ്പ് ചെയ്യാം. പക്ഷേ സാറേ കണ്ടിന്യൂ ചെയ്തേ.
എന്താ സർ പറഞ്ഞത്? ക്ലിയർ ആയില്ല.
അവിടെ വിശാൽ സാറിനോടെ കണ്ടിന്യൂ ചെയ്തോളാൻ പറയായിരുന്നേ ലാസ്റ്റ്.
Okay, sir.
ഓക്കെ, കണ്ടിന്യൂ ചെയ്തു.
Okay, sir. Thank you, Adarsh sir, for such a highly informative session regarding future with artificial intelligence. Thank you for sharing your valuable time and knowledge with us.
Okay, thank you. Me also thanking all of you to have making me a part in this session on this special day of Teachers' Day. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being a part in this.
ഫൈൻ. അപ്പൊ നമുക്ക് വൈൻഡ് അപ്പ് ചെയ്യാൻ തോന്നുന്നു അല്ലേ സർ, തോമസ് സർ?
Okay, sir. First of all, thank God.
So ചോദിക്കുന്നുണ്ട് സർട്ടിഫിക്കറ്റ് ലിങ്ക്സ്, ഫീഡ്ബാക്ക് ഫോം അങ്ങനെ എന്തെങ്കിലും. സോ
ഓക്കെ സാർ, പ്രൊവൈഡ് ചെയ്യുവേ. സാർ ഇപ്പം പ്രൊവൈഡ് ചെയ്യുവേ.
ഈ സർട്ടിഫിക്കറ്റ് കൊടുക്കുന്നുണ്ട്, അത് നമ്മൾ ഫോർവേഡ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്, അത് നമ്മൾ തോമസ് സാറുമായിട്ട് കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേറ്റ്
ഇപ്പൊ ഞാൻ ലിങ്ക് ഫോർവേഡ് ചെയ്യും. ഇപ്പൊ ഞാൻ ഇടും, ചാറ്റ് ബോക്സിൽ ഇടും. സാറേ താങ്ക് യു സെക്ഷൻ അവിടെ ഉണ്ടേ. സാറേ കണ്ടിന്യൂ ചെയ്തു.
Okay, sir. First of all, thank God Almighty for the blessings of the day. Now, I would like to thank our respected chairman, His Grace Dr. Thomas Mar Timotheos Metropolitan, for his prayers and blessings. Then I would like to thank our respected manager, Mr. M.K. Skaria, for his support. Then I would like to thank our respected principal, Professor Srijesh S. Nair, for his constant support and valuable guidance. Now, once again, I would like to express my gratitude to AI Village and our speaker Adarsh V. Kumar for such a wonderful presentation. Now, I would like to thank Mr. Thomas Abraham, HOD, Department of Computer Application, for planning, organizing, and executing this webinar in the morning. Last but not least, I would like to thank our faculty members, Department of Computer Application, and all the faculty, staff, and management of Holy Cross College of Management and Technology, Idiki, and all the participants. Participants are requested to fill up the feedback to get their certificate. Now, on behalf of the Department of Computer Applications, Holy Cross College, we proudly announce an international level EQuiz, Virtuoso 2K20 on artificial intelligence. The link for the quiz will be provided in the WhatsApp group and it will be given within 1 hour. You can participate if you have passed above 75%, then you will get an e-certificate. Okay, sir.
താങ്ക് യു സർ, താങ്ക് യു വിശാഖ് സർ. നമ്മള് ഇന്ന് അധ്യാപക ദിനത്തിന്റെ ഭാഗമായിട്ട് എ വില്ലേജിന്റെ അണ്ടറിലാണ് നമ്മൾ ഈ പ്രോഗ്രാം കണ്ടക്ട് ചെയ്തത്. ഇതിന് നമ്മളോട് സഹകരിച്ച ഹോളി ക്രോസ് കോളേജിനും അതിലെ CS ഡിപ്പാർട്ട്മെന്റിലെ തോമസ് സാറിനോടും നമുക്ക് വെൽക്കം ചെയ്ത വിശാഖ് സാറിനോടുള്ള താങ്ക്സ് നമ്മൾ അറിയിക്കുകയാണ്. പിന്നെ ഈ സെഷൻ കൈകാര്യം ചെയ്ത ആദർശ് സാറിനും നമ്മൾ നമ്മുടെ നന്ദി അറിയിക്കുകയാണ്. എ വില്ലേജിന്റെ മെയിൻ മോട്ടീവ് എന്നുള്ളത് കോളേജ്